2025. Go to item 1, apologies for absence and substitution.
Yes, Chairman, we've got apologies from Councillor Bill Davidson and Councillor Andrea Cousins.
Thank you. Move to item 2, minutes of the last meeting. They can be found on pages 5 to 12, and we need to confirm these. Do we have somebody to? Councillor Smith and Councillor Casey. Thank you. Everybody happy with those? Yep, lovely. Now move to item 3, declarations of interest. Councillors are invited to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interest, of non-registrable interest and the nature of it in relation to any item on the agenda. There are none. Item 4, questions on notice pursuant to Council Procedure Rule 38. Do we have any?
Thank you, Chairman. We've received none.
Thank you. So we'll move to item 5, which is the report of the Assistant Director of Corporate Policy and Support, A1, various licensing provisions and applications approved under delegated powers. These can be found on page 13 to 16.
Thank you, Chair. The first report today is a report on your figures that have been under delegation powers, and it's up to date up to Q2 of this year. You'll be pleased to note that the majority of the licences have stayed the same since Q1. The report's there for your information.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on those? Are we all quite happy? I think it's always good to have that information put out, and thanks for providing us with that information tonight. It's really helpful. So we'll now move on to item 6, which is the report of the Assistant Directorate of Corporate Policy and Support, A2, Charitable Collections Policy, found on pages 17 to 34.
This report's here today to invite committee members to consider commencing a consultation period. It's for a new policy in relation to the charitable collections for the district. We've got the draft policy attached. The licensing authority are responsible for charitable street collections and the house-to-house collections within the district. At current, we do not have a policy in place, although we do have regulations which are attached to the appendix. Putting in a new policy is good practice for the council as the licensing authority, and the policy draft is on pages 23 and to 33 for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have any questions on this policy? Councillor Davis.
What sort of collections we're actually thinking of? Because the only collection that I'm aware of around my house is when the Sally Army put out their bags after Christmas, you know, for unwanted clothes. What could you enlighten me as to what other areas receive more collections than we do?
The street collections are those collecting like your bucket collections that stand on the streets, so they need licensing. And then the house-to-house, it is door knockers that come to your doors. They sometimes ask for money for charities, and it also does include those collecting clothes, so it'd be your bags.
Would they have to apply for a licence to come? Not that you get many these days, it's true.
If they're collecting for charity, then they should have that sort of licence, yes.
But if they're collecting to buy their Christmas presents, they don't need a licence?
That's absolutely right. If it's not a charitable or philanthropic purpose, then it's for private gain, and therefore,
Oh. Okay.
and house-to-house collections do cover also those that are going pub to pub as well. So you sometimes see,
Pub to pub, right.
sometimes see
Yeah.
Collectors go with
Yeah.
selling badges and the likes
Yeah.
from
Okay.
pub to pub. So
So it's really the big organisations that, or organisations anyway, that are collecting for a charity aligned to their own cause. Yeah. Thank
on
you.
the whole, it would be registered charities, but it can
Yeah.
be non-registered charitable organisations
All right.
as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Do we have any further questions? Yes. Councillor Smith.
Sorry, I just wanted to confirm that this is the similar sort of thing that Colchester, Braintree and Uttlesford all have.
Majority of the councils do. I'm aware that Colchester have recently gone out for consultation on theirs as well.
Thank you.
Any further questions? No. Lovely. We will move to the recommendations then, found on page 17. It's recommended that the committee, 1, endorses the intention for the council to adopt a policy for charitable collections in the district, and 2, approves the draft charitable collections policy set out in the appendix to this report for public consultation. Do we have a proposer? Councillor Smith and Councillor Skeels Junior. Thank you. Everybody happy with that? Yeah. We'll move to item 7 on the agenda, which is the report of the Assistant Director, Corporate Policy and Support, A3 Scrap Metal Policy, which can be found on pages 35 to 48.
Thank you, Chair. Again, this report is for the scrap metal licensing that we deal with within the district. That will cover site licences and collectors licences under the Scrap Metal Dealers Act. Again, the district don't have a policy in place at the moment, but going forward and best practice, we'd like to get a policy in place just to help us with the decision making and letting the public know exactly what we're doing. So we've got a new policy in draft on pages 41 to 47 for consideration. Again, other councils within the Essex area do have these sort of licences, so we'd like to try and get in place with a similar licence. Thank you.
Do we have any questions on this one? So, I'd just like to make an observation which Michael is aware of. I was surprised that there are currently 2 collectors and 12 site licences. I have to say, I thought there would have been slightly more than that. So that's interesting to see, but I think it's good that we're going to look at this. So if there's no further questions from anyone, we'll move to the recommendations. It's recommended that the committee, 1, endorses the intention for the council to adopt a policy for scrap metal in the district, and 2, approves that the draft scrap metal policy set out in the appendix to this report for public consultation. And I think we were saying we'd look at the consultation to perhaps be over a period of 4 to 6 weeks. Was that right, Michael? Okay.
I think I would recommend that it's over 8 weeks for both consultations, so that we don't unduly restrict that. Previous good practice from central government was over 12 weeks.
Right.
So I don't think we should unduly restrict the period for consultation. In this case, I think we would certainly go to national organisations, including things like that, organisations like the British Metals Recycling Association and others. And quite rightly, therefore, we need to make sure that we give ample time for those to respond, as well as our existing site licence and collector licensees, who are obviously running businesses. And therefore, I think it's right and proper that we give them a reasonable amount of time to respond. Sorry, Chair.
That's fine. So do we have a proposer and a seconder? Councillor Amos proposing and seconded by Councillor Casey. Everybody happy with those recommendations? Yep. All happy. Lovely. So we will now move to the last item, which is the date of the next scheduled meeting. The next scheduled meeting of the Licence and Registration Committee is to be held in the Town Hall, Station Road, Clacton-on-Sea, CO15 1SC at 6:30 on Wednesday, the 21st of January 2026. Thank you all members.